Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing tonight? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the very first episode of It Came from Netflix. This is a show I've been kicking around an idea for quite some time. It's a show where we all get to talk about things on Netflix. I know it's not the most unique or original concept out there, but you know what? Fuck it. Everyone's doing something similar. Why don't we talk about probably the craziest show? And I mean that, like literally, the craziest show to come on Netflix this year. And of course, I'm talking about Tiger King. This is going to be a spoiler stream. This is going to be a full-on discussion stream. I want to hear your theories. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your best Joe Exotic impersonation. But first things first, if you are new here, why don't we do us all a favor and relive the magic by watching the trailer for Tiger King. Well, that of course is the trailer for Tiger King. It's a great trailer. It really is. It kind of does a lot to set up the mood, right? It kind of introduces you to a bit of the characters without fully going into all the crazy mayhem, all the crazy details, all the crazy shit that goes on in that 7-part documentary series. Now, this is not what I wanted to do for the very first episode of the show. I was gonna do something else. I was gonna do Spencer Confidential, but this one is what everyone's talking about. And I finally sat down. I finally watched the goddamn thing. I finished it last night. And I gotta say, god damn, that's a hell of a story. And there's a lot there. Now, I have put the link out, the invite out to a couple friends of mine who have also seen it. And we're going to wait for them to jump in for a few. We'll wait for you guys to jump in for a few. Now, I do want to kind of go through a quick little pimping of what this series is. So yeah, this whole series of It Came from Netflix has again, it's a lot to do about just trying to build a community, build people together. We'll do shorter things as time goes on. But this particular story is one that speaks to me on so many levels, because for one, I like murder mystery. Okay, we have a murder. We don't have a murder. I don't want to say we have alleged murder. There's a disappearance, so we don't quite know yet what's going on with that. But that's going to be coming down the pipeline. Let's see. Well, Johnny, if you haven't seen Tiger King, then this is going to be a spoiler discussion about Tiger King. So you may want to watch the 7 episodes and then come back to get in on the action, because it's going to be one of those things. It's going to be one of those things. I do want to find more ways to bring everybody together, and this is definitely a good way to do it. I kind of like got excited to do it today, and then I just set the stream and went out and did my work and came home, got home a little bit later than I'd like, and then here we are. So yeah, basically the idea of Tiger King is one that I think speaks to most people. It's one of the reasons why everyone's watching it right now. Now, Netflix has the good fortune of releasing this documentary during a global pandemic and a shutdown. So people need shit to watch. People need things to watch. They absolutely need to be entertained. And there's no way you can not finish this and not respond if someone were to ask, "Are you not entertained?" and you to cheer wildly, because so essentially, this whole thing is about a guy who runs this massive cat park, Joe Exotic. And that to me was just wild off the bat, because like you don't think about the type of characters that go into running a zoo. You just don't. But this is a private zoo. It's not like not a public zoo. You got to pay. Well, you got to pay money to go to the regular zoos. But it's one of those whole stories where it does talk. You do kind of feel like the entrepreneurial spirit. You feel like it's kind of Americana in like the weirdest way. You've got a dude, larger than life personality, gay, in a polygamous relationship, running a cat farm, right? A tiger zoo with a whole bunch of other different animals, exotic animals, who is now in jail for a long time for a murder for hire plot against a rescue lady, a cat rescue lady, who may or may not have killed her own husband and fed him to tigers. And in the middle of this, you've got con artists out of Las Vegas. You've got other polygamous cat, breeders in Georgia. I mean, you've got accidental suicides. You've got, they're almost caught on tape. Like the ultimate reaction image sort of thing is there. So there's that. All right. Hey, what's going on, Lunga? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up?
Not too much. Hold on real quick. Yeah, Anthony, I wasn't on last night, dude. I didn't get home until almost 11:30 from doing deliveries, and I was just wiped out. So I just went to bed, finished watching Tiger King, and hung out. So, and we got Robert.
What's up?
Yeah, that's what I like to see. There we go. That's lame. I don't like that. There you go. So, Tiger King is a wild documentary. You guys would probably agree.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, now I just finished it last night, but I've been hearing everyone talk about it for days. I've been hearing everyone like, on Twitter, on YouTube, it's all over the place. I got this, notification from a channel like Top 5 Unknowns, and they're like, top 5 things the documentary doesn't tell you about Joe Exotic. And I'm like, well, I'm not done with it yet, so I'm not going to watch it, you spoilerific fucks.
I think Looper already did one of those too.
Oh, I'm sure Looper did. I'm sure. I am sure Looper has got probably like 30 videos in the can of Tiger King.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I have legitimately been attempting to like think of ways to like capitalize on that because everyone's talking about it. Like it was number 1 last week, and then it dipped.
It still
right?
is. No, it still is today.
But no, yeah, and then it popped back up to number 1. So I mean, and that's what I said before at the beginning of this thing, which was essentially like Netflix got lucky because they were going to release it. It's going to be a true crime. It was going to be a hit, like Making a Murderer. It was going to be one of those water cooler shows.
Mm-hmm.
But they got lucky that this global pandemic happened and everyone's home.
Yeah.
So it's just we're all cooped up and we're watching this like reality show documentary, so to speak, of this larger than life gay libertarian polygamous cat owner.
I gotta be honest with you, I would have watched it even if we weren't at home.
Oh yeah, no, me too.
Yeah.
I would have definitely watched it. I think for me, like what kind of kept me off of it at first was just the time commitment. Because my time is so limited, I'm like, do I want to play like Call of Duty Modern Warfare or Animal Crossing, or do I want to do, Tiger King? And then I thought, well, I could do Animal Crossing and Tiger King. And then I started watching Tiger King, and I'm like, I can't do Animal Crossing. Like I can't. There's no way. I have to legitimately pay the fuck attention to what the hell's going on. This is just, it's too wild. Now let me ask you guys this, like, what did you specifically think about the Joe Exotic character? Like in the beginning, do you think that they I mean, all the way through to me, it feels like they framed him like he's the victim.
They did kind of do that, but I think they tried to make him not be show that he's not as smart as he thought he was, and he was easily taken advantage of by multiple people.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest with you, just trying to look at it as pragmatically as I can. Do I think? I mean, this is a spoiler. We are a spoiler, right?
Yeah. We're 100 on spoiler. Most people in the comment section are telling me they haven't seen the show yet, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like,
okay, well, guys, spoiler
alert! You're gonna get spoiled about fucking big ass cats.
Yeah. Do I think he wanted her dead and talked about it and tried planning something? Yes. Do I think the other people around him were pushing him along to it and encouraging him? Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. Robert, you were
Yeah, I think he's one of those dudes that he's surrounded by yes people. He's surrounded by people that he brought into his little harem there. And every off the wall fucking crazy idea that this guy throws out there, everyone's saying, yeah, that sounds good. Now the thing is when you talk about criminal threats, they used to be called terroristic threats, now they're called criminal threats. When you say I'm going to kill somebody, it can't be because there's an underlying reason, such as if you come in, like if you're in your house and you're having an argument with the neighbor and you're back and forth and you tell that neighbor, hey, if you come into my fucking house, I'm going to kill you. That's not a criminal threat because there's an action before you're
That's why they couldn't. That's why they couldn't get him originally.
Right. But if you're talking about killing somebody and saying, hey, you know what? This would be a good place to just drop a bomb on this fucking person's property. Hey, look at down there. That looks like a great place. Hey, you know what? Let's look at this map. Let's pull this up on fucking Google Earth. Oh, right there.
Wow, look at this bike trail. Look at this fucking bike trail. Look how pretty it is. Look how foliage it is around it, right?
Now you're skirting into, that's a fucking criminal threat now. That's a homicidal threat. So,
even that's not enough to arrest, really.
Well, legally it's kind of a gray area.
They need more. They need more. And
a little bit more.
What got it was, and this is why I'm saying that I forgot their names, but the guy that came to help him out, the guy from Las Vegas.
Oh, Joe, Jeff Lowe. Jeff Lowe.
Jeff Lowe, and his little patsy guy. Once the money was exchanged, now it's kill for hire. Now it's a hip job, and that is illegal, and that is prosecutable, and you can get locked up for that. If once money is exchanged, then they can do that. And that's why they explained in that. That's why we needed more from Jeff. They're like, we need more, and that's why he convinced his guy to say, yeah, he gave me $3,000, but I left to North Carolina instead.
Yeah,
and I do find it. I mean, I don't want to believe anything comes out of Joe Exotic's mouth, but at the same time, when he says, I hated this guy, he hated me, why would I pay him $3,000 to go kill her?
Yeah.
When he's Jeff's guy, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, and Jeff was the one. Yeah, like when you got to that part, like what I love about the way the structure of the show, like I see. Hold on here. Lewis was in. Lewis had just popped in the backstage, and then like I'm like, dude, you're gonna get spoiled. You've only seen 2 episodes. You're not like you're gonna get fucking.
I don't know if he has the fucking attention span to do all the episodes. I'm being honest.
I would say not at once. Like
he's gonna get at some point. He's like, Robert, just give me the quick notes.
Yeah. He'll be like, let me just go to the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Let me just go to the Wikipedia. Read the episode.
I know what
breakdown.
I'm talking about, Robert. Help me out, Robert.
Well, what I love is I love the structure of the documentary and leading up to like the whole thing with the murder for hire plot, because I feel like they did everything they could to frame Carole Baskin as the villain, and that Joe was ultimately the good guy, even though no one in the story is good.
Right.
Like no one is morally righteous.
Every last person is morally corrupt in that show.
Yeah. Like
I don't know the editor's name, but whoever edited the series did a great fucking job.
Well,
Storytelling,
apparently
the way they told the story was phenomenal.
it was really good. What I from my understanding,
actually, I take it back. The straightest arrow guy there was the guy that was honest about him wanting to make money. Was the guy filming the fucking documentary?
Oh yeah.
He was
the
former was he former Inside Edition producer?
Yeah,
that went down there.
Yeah, he worked for Inside Edition. He was a field producer, and he was also on camera. But he was the most honest guy out of that out of that entire documentary. And then all his shit just goes up in flames.
Gets burned up, right? It gets burned the fuck up. But there was that rumor too that came off of that thing where they're talking about how there was that threat against him. They showed that security footage of like what appeared to be Bigfoot lumbering by.
Yeah,
did you catch that?
Yeah,
right. And it looked like someone who was tall and lumbering over, like that was the person. But they never mentioned that again. They never mentioned any follow up in the arson case. They never mentioned anything. So I'm like, okay, that was clearly what they probably used to get rid of that guy, and I think his name was Robert, and then to get rid of him, and then they just in the story they just moved on after that, because after that there's really no more point.
Yeah, what he said is that basically they did that because he had all this footage on Joe Exotic, all behind the scenes, behind him saying shit that can get him in trouble, and that's why he burned it all to hell.
Oh yeah,
but at the same token too, it's like, it makes you wonder how messed up these people, because the Carole thing you brought up made her sound like the bad guy, right? How fucked up are the cops in this play area? I mean, how did they not get? There was like all this shit on her. They're just like, we don't have enough yet.
Well, it's difficult from my understanding.
Without a body.
I mean, without a body and without any sign of struggle or any sign of anything really, it's hard to prove.
Isn't there is something about disappearance or suspect to a person's, like kidnapping or something like that. There's got to be something like that.
Well,
it's not
comes
murder, you know what I mean? But
when it comes to, filing a missing persons report, there is no 24-hour law or rule. There is no 12-hour rule. If you believe somebody is missing, it could be 2 hours and say, hey, you know what? My kid was supposed to come home from school and never showed up. It's been an hour and a half. They'll take a missing persons report. So what generally happens is the officer will come out, take the missing person report, and then that gets forwarded depending on, the severity or, the potential for it to be, life-threatening or something that's extremely abnormal. It gets forwarded to a detective, then the detective is the one that does all the follow-up regarding the missing person. Now, this guy was an adult, a little older. Where was he traveling? Was it Costa Rica? He was supposed to be going.
Yeah, it's supposed to be going.
Yeah. So he was supposed to be going to Costa Rica. So I mean, from the law enforcement side of it, I'm sure there's a huge delay because it's known for this guy to be, out of
Pilot.
town. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Sometimes not reachable, doing whatever he's doing in Costa Rica also. So because he was kind of,
he had another wife in Costa Rica.
Right. So he was doing his side stuff. We know he probably had, his side chicks on the side.
But then you said she knew, and she didn't want to move down there because she didn't want to be a part of another polygamy thing.
Yeah.
Like everyone else apparently is part of.
I think that's why there's a delay and she had plenty of time. If it is true that she fucking killed the dude and fed him to a tiger, she had plenty of time to do it. She had a lot of time before, there was actual really any, solid police follow-up regarding his disappearance. I will say this. She's kind of cute when she was young.
Yeah.
She's pretty hot.
When she was young. She
Yeah,
was.
She's like a free spirit, hippie looking girl. And
I mean, she kind of looks like Hillary Clinton now, but
think of that story. She looks like my aunt, which is really weird. Like now, like I kept expecting her to say like "warsh," because my aunt like puts R's in weird words. You pothead from Oregon is how it goes. But one of the things I found was interesting was like her story about how she met her husband and how she was in an abusive relationship, and then he was like kept approaching her and like handed her a gun and said like, "Here, point it at me. I just need someone to talk to." They drove around. She pointed a gun at him, and then they went and had sex in a hotel, right? Like that, and then they were together for 3 more years before she finally left her husband.
Yeah,
3 more years. So there's so much there that I'm like, wait a minute, something about this is a little bit off. And then you've got the whole thing with her, and like how his family was saying how she controlled all the money, and she totally fucked them all over. And then every time they were showing that, like they would cut back the clips, like the slow-mo clips of Carole, like looking all like deceitful and a little devious.
Uh-huh.
Like, and I'm like, you're totally like framing
the slow-mo.
Yeah. Like this always cutting back to that where it's like, come on, she knows she's the villain. Like at this point, I really think they were trying to get her to say that she killed her husband and fed him to the tigers. Like I really do think that.
The thing is like anytime the subject broke up, she has like this nervous laughter every time she's talking about it, which doesn't help, And can we please go to the one person who's not been mentioned yet? Bhagavan Antel, who has his whole harem and basically lures young girls. I mean, they were all 16 to 18.
Yeah, they were teenage girls, man.
Yes, to him to become his wives. And he's literally the one guy in the show saying, they're all crazy.
Yeah. I love that. I love that where he was going to say something that could be potentially seen as incriminating. And he's just like, nope, I ain't saying,
nope. Why?
Not going to be
sue me?
I ain't gonna. No, I ain't. Like, I love it too. I love at the end when he's like talking about Joe and the whole murder for plot thing, hire for thing, and he goes, "He's like the guy's an idiot. Like there's no way he knows how to do any of this.
And in the meantime, they have the other girl who was one of his wives, just doing this whole side documentary about what a manipulator he is.
Yeah, because they gave almost a whole episode to him, to Doc Antel, that and they're like, oh yeah, like he was like, I met him when I was 17. I get there, my dad says, don't fall in love with him, as my dad drove away, and then like I got a boob job. It's like I got a boob job. I didn't know if I really wanted it, and then like they show her like with the fake tits and a tiger. And then but did you notice the key factors in all this was the whole thing? It all boiled down to all the manipulation had everything to do with those goddamn cats.
Yeah,
everything was.
Who fucking knew that they only cost a couple grand?
Yeah, $2,000 for a fucking tiger.
Jesus Christ!
Apparently, that was a big brouhaha recently because Donald Trump Jr. was on some talk show talking about, they're only $2,000. No. I have $2,000. I can have a tiger running around in my backyard.
Yeah, and for $3,000, you could hire a meth head to fucking cap a lady. It's like, how come the murder for hire costs more than the fucking tiger? But the $70,000 a year to feed the tigers, that was where the cost comes into play. Now, what kind of cracked me up though, one of the things I think like they spent a little bit of time on was the Walmart meat truck.
Yeah.
And like how fucked up that was, but what was more fucked up was at the end, like when they started opening the pizzeria and they used the Walmart meat truck for the meat.
Well, they never. Well, did we get proof that actually happened? I mean, there was no. It looked like it was happening. Once they opened up that little pizza stand, and then then they cut to, hey, look,
they
at
never,
look
they
at all
never,
this
they never
meat.
confirmed it, but like people were the people they asked about it were saying. I'm pretty convinced he used the meat truck.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
like
pumped. I'm pretty sure he used the meat truck like to make the pizza.
That's all they said with it.
And he's like, I make all the pizza myself, and then like takes one little bite.
Yeah,
and you're like, it's because that shit's rancid, dude. The hell is wrong with you?
But the sad part is everyone there lived off of that. They didn't do grocery shopping. That's what they would take their first pick from the meat truck.
Yeah, that was they made 117 a week.
Yeah, that's
and then they.
I get this premise. I mean, even though that's still insanely low pay, obviously, they don't pay rent, they don't pay electric, they don't pay utilities, they don't have to worry about gas. They live there. They don't have to travel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So literally, that money is just pocket money at that.
Well,
point.
it's meth money,
what I mean?
To be fair,
Meth money.
But at the same time,
hold on, unless you're his husband's, because he got it for you.
Oh, he got it for them. Yeah. That was actually one of my favorite reveals in the episodes when I'm looking at the one guy, his one husband, the younger one, the one who's alive, and you're like, oh yeah, he's on meth. Right. And then like later on, he's like, well, meth goes and kills your teeth. And then he just smiles and you're like, oh my God.
But
no,
I mean,
you just noticed that after I noticed it the whole show.
No. I lived around meth heads.
Well, I mean, I kept thinking like, oh, these fucking guys got to be on drugs. That's meth mouth. These guys have to be on meth. And I don't know which, maybe it was like one of the later episodes, maybe second to last or third to last, where they finally say, yeah, we're all fucking smoking meth, and we got I'm not even
like it's an afterthought.
Yeah, how does this dude get these guys to turn gay for him?
Because they're meth heads.
Yeah, meth heads will suck a dick for meth.
They literally fulfilled the stereotype. They literally fulfilled the stereotype.
Because I mean, he was like, yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't gay, but I got.
I like my meth.
Robert, you live in the LA area, right?
I do.
Okay, you remember the '90s and the crack whore deal?
Yes, I remember
how they would. That's meth today. Okay.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, yeah,
today.
It's true.
That is, that's. Hold on, I want to find a clip that will, I think, best exemplify this whole situation. Let's see if I can find it here. It's from a movie called "Don't Be a Menace." Like
to South Central,
like drinking your juice in the hood.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Also, can we give special notice to the fact that his husband during the entire interview of all 5 episodes was wearing no shirt? He just
no shirt with his nipples pierced.
Yeah, he was just sitting in his chair like this with his hands like that, just no shirt.
Like that's essentially
near
what it
the end
boils down to.
when he leaves, it just goes, yeah, I wasn't gay.
yeah, I wasn't gay. Oh, can we get this?
The other guy's like, oh, well, he knocked up the cashier.
Yeah.
Here, this is how I exemplify that. This clip right here from a little movie called "Don't Be Mess of South Central, Drinking Juice in the Hood." Oops, there we go. Ah, what the fuck? Hold on, damn it! Fucking hit the wrong button.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah, fuck off. 240p. God damn it.
See that little gear icon?
There's 240p.
Well, change it to 720.
There's no 720. It's only 240.
Well, you found the guy who uploaded the shittiest fucking video on YouTube, okay? Find another one.
The lowest definition video. Lowest possible definition.
Right. Like I shot this with my 90 VHS camera and converted it to digital on my AOL internet back in 99.
Well, he's loading that. Also, the that one chick that got her arm ripped off, man. Still there, still working there.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
It went to a different fucking screen. Okay. I was watching the clip. It went to a different screen. I didn't see it. My motherfucking God. Yeah, boomer it up. That's fine. No, listen, look, 240p is the only one it will give me. So here, just watch this shit.
Man, you got any spare change?
Sorry, bro, I'm all out, man.
Man, I got these
cheeseburgers, man.
Is that JB Smooth?
No.
Please, man. your dick.
Ew. Get out of here, man.
See, that's not Joe Exotic.
No.
This is Joe Exotic.
Man, can you move direction to Crenshaw, man?
Fool, you better get your crusty behind away from me.
Man, I sucked your dick, man.
What you say to me?
I'll suck your dick, man.
Oh, man. All right, what you want to do, my man? Go to the corner, go about 3 blocks down, and make a right. And you'll be right there on
Check it
Crenshaw.
out.
All right, sure.
There you go.
Yeah, see, there we go. That's what I think of when I think of that guy. When I think of how he turned people gay, it was just like that's what I think. Yeah, I'll suck your dick, man, for directions to Crenshaw.
But
Like, okay,
what is it? I mean, I don't get it. Maybe broken homes. Maybe dad doesn't love me enough. With the women that would just fall for that. What was his name? Doc
Antel.
Doc
Yeah.
Antel, yeah, Bhagavan Antel,
Bhagavan,
yeah.
right? Yeah, what's his real name? Like, he looks like a Rick. You know, he just looks like a Rick
with the ponytail, the blonde ponytail.
Yes.
with this fucking soul patch.
Well, did you see when he
Yeah.
was young? When he was young, he had the whole fucking porn stash and the long fucking flowing
Oh, yeah.
hair and everything.
I mean, like even yeah. I mean, we touched on it a little bit, but even that whole scenario, like, what are they feeding these people to basically work for free and be part of this little cult? I don't get
gotta
it.
say, at least with Doc Antel, again, this is in no way justifying what he did. This is fucking. These were minors, okay, that he lured into his fucking
Jesus.
house, okay.
That's true. Very impressionable. 16, 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay, but it looks like the facilities were pretty well kept.
His
Yes,
right.
They all had their own houses. I mean, their own house, and they were big. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his property looked very well maintained.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
but yeah,
Whereas Joe Exotic, who was making pretty good money for what they're talking about, what he was spending, he was bringing in millions. He
Yeah.
had them in these fucking broken down trailers with like no running water and cockroaches.
no,
Yeah.
and then there were rats and vermin in the dressers, and
Yeah. It's like
Ugh.
he could have bought brand new, nice trailers for everyone for a quarter of the cost that Don Cantillo paid for build one of those houses.
Well, if you notice too, Doc and he was talking about the movies he'd worked on. He provided a lot of the animals for certain
Yeah.
movies. You can make some
Oh,
serious
yeah.
bank off of that,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So there's a lot that he made a lot of money. Plus, he was a savvy businessman, and that's when and I'm watching that. And there was that one line, I forget which episode, where they basically alluded to the fact that he had killed, once the tigers become past petting at cub age, that he just kills them.
It's like a whole crematorium or something.
Yeah,
Right,
and they
right.
they mentioned that, and then of course the last thing you see in the whole series kind of
Yeah,
mentions that again, and I don't know what happened with that. Actually, I should probably go look that up real quick. But I find him to be very fascinating. Like, that is something that I think requires its own documentary. But that dude's smart enough to not publicly incriminate himself. Like,
yeah.
he loves
No,
the
he's not.
attention. He wants the attention because people are going to still flock to the zoo. But deep down, he would have been totally happy if Carole would have gotten whacked.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure. And here's the thing. It's like when I first started, and I think you could say this about everybody in that fucking show. Because when we watched the first episode too, we're like, okay, except for Carole, who looks like she's kind of shady. These are just eccentric people. They're not that bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
And even with Doc Antil, it's like, listen, I live in a certain lifestyle, and I know lots of people who have that kind of polyamorous relationship. I was polyamorous for a couple years. And I'm like, well, don't shame the guy for that kind of relationship. And then they start getting deeper into it. I'm like, oh, hold on, wait a minute, the kids?
yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. What, he lured them in there like fucking non-flesh eating Jeffrey Dahmer?
Right.
Okay, yeah, no. Let's scratch this here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like they probably got to a point with that where there's we've essentially laid out a case
Yeah.
against him without saying anything, enough to get people to go, maybe we should look into him a little bit more. That'd be perfectly fine without coming out and saying he's a pedophile. They haven't said
Right.
that.
Right.
But it's at the same time, his entire operation was so well manicured. It was so sleek that
They all look happy.
and they all look
The girls
happy. Yeah. So it's no one's really going to go in there and super question it. But it's also what they didn't touch upon, and what they when we talked about the guru, we had a guru that was his mentor.
Right,
And that's what gave him the name Bhagavan or whatever. And then he renamed all the other women You know, like I forget their names, but it's just he gave them those names. Well, think about like how many times you hear about those kind of gurus that have those harems, that have like all the, you know, all that money and all that power.
What was that? There was a Netflix series about that guy that created a whole
Wild
city.
Wild Country or something. That was in Oregon.
Yeah.
That was in Oregon back in the 70s.
I
where they
watched
actually,
that whole thing too.
Yeah, well,
It
they
was
committed
ridiculous.
eco-terrorism. We should talk
Yeah.
about that one episode because I haven't seen that yet, but I do need to.
Oh yeah, it was good.
But it's like, well, being
amazing.
from Oregon, yeah, I want to like that's something that's interesting to me. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of what that is. There's a lot of power, and you hear about these kind of like Hindu cults that are like that. You know, you hear. I've seen a lot of documentaries, or I've read a lot of stories about a lot of the rape that takes place in there, and a lot of those, you know, how bad it gets, and even like Koresh and Waco kind of comes across very similar.
All the same thing. Yeah, it's not just the Hindu ones. It's every one of these cult leaders that draws, especially young. Manson did the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They always give him nicknames, new names, because it's all about manipulation. Like that is all about cutting them off from everyone they know and love to where they could only depend on you. That's what it's all about. That's what all cult mentality is.
Well,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Safety Zoom here says Bhagavan means Lord. That's true.
does.
That was
They
in the
mentioned
documentary.
it.
Yeah, that was mentioned in there too.
And he came up with some other things. It means like the man who enlightens or something like that.
Yeah, because it was like
And
it
all
was
the girls are like,
juxtaposing with that one girl saying like,
Yeah,
you know, he wants
means
to be
Lord.
God.
right. It means enlightenment. She's like, Lord. It means Lord.
Yeah, that was great. That was again, they laid out this total case against him that
Yeah.
was just great. And then they moved on, but they kept going back to him too. And you know the thing is like he's a kind of sociopath that loves the attention.
Yeah.
And wants to be involved in that. And then I still want to know like what the federal government found when Joe Exotic ratted his ass out. I love that too.
But I think that's the whole thing is that they wanted to, which I think the takeaway from this is like you're supposed to watch it all and say, oh my God, how fucked up these people are.
Right.
And not only that, Joe Exotic is the dumbest one of them all. And that's why he got in trouble while everyone else is doing things even way worse than him in some way.
Right. Yeah. No.
He's the dumb one.
Yeah.
He's the one who gets in trouble.
No, I think, I mean, they all have blood on their hands in some degree and some worse, maybe, you know, I mean, the thought, you know, did Carole really kill her husband? Fuck yeah, she did. She fucking killed that dude. You know,
There's no other explanation for that. Like, I mean,
the secretary's like, it was under my desk. What did she do? She broke in and took it. The day after he was reported missing.
well, yeah, they cut the power.
Yeah.
So I mean, and like to me, that's the most suspicious thing on the planet. Like they cut the power. Like, what are you trying to, you know, what kind of alarm system or security system are you trying to disable?
Right.
Is they were talking to her dead husband's lawyer for a few episodes, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming if he wrote up these power of attorneys, that his lawyer did it for him. But he's like, I can't discuss it. I can't discuss it.
Well, I think there may be potentially some more fallout. There's going to be more from this. I mean, we've already seen a little bit of fallout with their. I think it was maybe last week where they said they're planning on reopening some type of an investigation with Carole Baskin and her deceased husband.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. When you have those, unless he did them on his own, when you write up those kind of papers, you get a copy and your lawyer has a copy.
Yes, you do. You do. when you write a will and testament, or you leave anything documenting, you know, your will or your trust, you get a copy. That's oh gosh, what's that called? Like when it's certified. And then your attorney does keep a copy as well.
Right.
And especially his attorney, his attorney, you know, worked with him, was on retainer with him, you know, had a relationship with him. So I'm sure he has a copy. It's not like, you know, you just go to a lawyer's office, say, hey, you know, can you write this up for me? And then you get your copy and then you leave. No.
Yeah, but they went the whole 5 years of him being missing and her taking all the money.
Yeah.
And the lawyer did nothing, didn't present anything.
Yeah, that's why this story is so fucking convoluted. There's so many twists and turns with this. Because when I was watching, I'm like, I would think too, like, wait.
Well, real quick.
I have a feeling that he asked his attorney for advice and then just wrote up his own power of attorney paperwork. That's what I think probably happened. That's why his attorney didn't have a copy of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Doc Antel has been trying to defend himself on Instagram in the wake of this thing coming out. And this is all from like the last week of March, where he is trying to say like, oh, deceptive editing tactics by linking to a video somebody had made about how the editors like would cut audio as if like to cut out an audio to move to the next clip is not like a common trait in transitioning. In transitions. It's pretty basic, but like he's going through is like he has a statement he made on March 24th, but the Instagram post has been removed. And there's no archive for it, so I can't. Hopefully somebody saved it somewhere. I'm sure they did. Like there's going to be a lot of deep dives into this sort of thing. But it appears that he's trying to cover his ass because he doesn't want to get busted.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't want any investigation.
No, he doesn't want any investigation. And here's another thing that we're forgetting to mention is they couldn't really get Joe Exotic on just that murder for hire charge. They had to get other people to talk about the Tigers to actually get him convicted because they said that they didn't feel the case was strong enough just on that.
Yeah. So there was a euthanization of five tigers, but the way that it came out is that he says he euthanized them because like they got sick. And I'm like, dude, that sounds like bullshit.
Right.
Because obviously when you're cub breeding and you are doing this constantly for, all this money you're making, you got to still have a fresh supply. So, eventually it's you're going to have things that are way too big. But what got me the most in that though was when they're talking to like the handlers and they're like, I those animals trusted me.
Yeah.
And I had to look him in the eyes when he killed them.
Oh, that's shitty. That's horrible,
and then it's like for $100 a week, and these guys like there was that allure, the perfume, if you will, or hormones or whatever, pheromones, whatever to like the tigers and everything that these guys just love these animals. And
I just remember the part. Oh my God. When they were talking about fucking Doc Antel and that guy who became Lowe's partner afterwards, the guy who had his own little thing out. And he looked like he was like in the middle of the desert. The guy who became Jeff's partner after Joe Exotic was gone.
Oh yeah.
Him. And they were talking to him about Doc, and he's like, "Man, fuck how he takes care of those tigers. I want to know how the hell he keeps all them bitches in line." Teach me that. Teach me how you did that. I'm like, holy shit, these people.
Yeah.
That to me was hysterical, and he's like that. But that was one of those weird things too in that episode where it kind of felt like they were trying to glorify, Doc Antel's lifestyle, which is fine if that's what they wanted to do. But but I think that might have also been like the allure to keep you watching,
right?
But every time they cut back to him was hilarious. Like he's getting along with Jeff Lowe, getting along with Jeff. We're building this building. Then all of a sudden it's like fuck Jeff Lowe.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I mean that's also how they shoot reality TV shows and documentaries. The producer will say, can you phrase it like this? And to make it seem like it's relevant in the moment. But they did, I mean, like those guys just, the other dealers were just hysterical because they all know, like they all fucking know what goes on. They all know the dirty backyard tricks. They just don't want to talk about it because it cuts into their bottom line and it makes them all look bad. But I was reading a thing, I think in the documentary, it said that there were like 5,000 to 10,000 tigers here in the United States, and only 4,000 are left in the wild.
Some and outrageous, disparaging numbers from the wild, and then ones that are captive.
And
there's more in captivity than there is in the wild.
Yeah,
it's crazy to think about that in that regard, where it's like, especially in the South, where these things, because I was reading, there was a criminal story I heard about a while ago about a dude who ran a gas station that had a lion, I think. And like a lioness maybe, and like he got into it with like somebody else and they killed his lion, and it was like, but you can find gas stations in the South that have full-on tiger cages. So it's like, come fill up your gas and check out a fucking lion. So it's such a sideshow attraction down in the South because the weather can sustain it. So I don't know. I mean, that shit's fucking wild. If you ask me, it's like, I don't know how I'd feel if I'm I'm going to a gas station and there's like a lion in a cage.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that it's right, but I get where their mentality comes from. Well, there's all these goddamn zoos all over countries, and they have all these animals in cages. You don't see people bitching about them, and it's like, why can't we do it too? Like, they're gonna be a zoo license.
There was out here in Southern California, in a city that, my mom lived in the city at the time, in the city of West Covina. There's a guy who owned a chimpanzee. He had the chimpanzee since it was a baby, since it was I can't remember how old the chimp was when he first got it, but it was literally a baby. He raised it and he kept it in his home, in a regular residential home. It wasn't equipped with, it wasn't a big property. It wasn't, a sanctuary. It was in a regular, like I said, regular residential area in the city of West Covina. And the chimp escaped one of the days, and it just ran amok. It was all over the city. It was all over the news. And so for years, the guy, the chimp's name was Mo. And for years, the guy, I think he was like a professional wrestler at some point when he was younger, because he was a big burly dude. But when I would go visit my mom, you would always see him outside in a rocking chair holding up a sign saying, "Bring Mo home." Because once they caught Mo, they took the chimp to a sanctuary, I want to say out in the Valley, Santa Clarita area, which is about 50 miles north of Los Angeles. So the sad part is, so he would go visit his chimp, like I believe every other day. His wife would drive him out, take him to go visit his chimpanzee Mo. On one of the trips that he was out there, he was feeding the chimpanzee, and another chimpanzee went fucking crazy and attacked him and ripped his face off.
Oh, wow.
And left him scarred for the rest of his life. And then after that, he started to develop like severe health problems. I think he ripped his nose off. He lost an eye. He had to have skin grafts all over his face. But I think he maybe died a couple years later due to complications. But I mean, this story just brought back, the thought of who fucking keeps these wild animals. And to be honest, in the 70s, you could buy like little spider monkeys, squirrel monkeys. They were legal to buy here in California. You could have them in a cage. I'll admit, my family had one. My parents had a little, I think it was called a little spider monkey or a little squirrel monkey. And my mom has pictures of it in our backyard. But ultimately, it actually died because it choked on an apple inside of his cage.
Well, let me, it says you mentioned like, who are the people that buy these things, right?
Right.
So I was looking through on Twitter and I came across this neat little meme here. So it's choose your Tiger King sex cult. So Joe Exotic is $100 a week in a trailer, unlimited food off the meat truck, meth, EMS jacket on standby for emergencies. Yeah, I found that to be really weird, right? That they had an EMS jacket on standby. Like when the chick lost her arm and he was wearing the jacket.
Right.
Like, holy shit. Never mind the chick losing her arm and then going back to work there. And then no dental plan. That
course.
bitch Carole. Exciting volunteer opportunity. That shit was fucking weird too. Her cult shit with the different color shirts, and it was like, oh, you have to be here for like 4 years and then you can become a green shirt.
Yes, exactly.
And it's like, again,
and by the way, it's even worse than the other ones because they don't get paid at all.
No.
Yeah, right. New shirt after a year, gets to wear the leash, will kill you and feed you to the tigers if you piss her off.
Can we really take a moment and appreciate how the fuck Joe Exotic found an actor to looks exactly like her to put in that fucking music video?
In that music video.
She looked just like her.
Jesus.
I love Doc Antel's whole approach to that. He's like, did you see that video, man? That was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then Hart's like, real quick though, do you think that Joe actually sings? I don't.
No.
Because he was
like it.
Because at the funeral, for that, I forget his name.
For the young husband,
the younger husband, yeah.
Right.
He starts singing, right? Like they show him like he's singing, and then you can tell that he's just singing over the track. They're not playing the instrumental, and he's singing along with it. He's singing along to the music, and he listens to that every single day. So on his way to work or whatever, he pops in his own CD and listens to quote unquote himself sing. Like that to me is just like I was laughing my ass off at that shit because he doesn't actually do this, but whoever the actual vocal talents was, that guy was good.
Wasn't bad.
Wasn't
Pretty
bad.
Good.
Like I'd like to see him come out and like actually say that. But what also cracked me up too,
little Milli Vanilli deal there.
Yeah, a little bit of Milli Vanilli. Like,
Maybe,
I mean, but if you
possibly.
think, going back to this meme here because we could look at like Doc Antel, cockroach sandwiches works with other hot women, gets to touch Bhagavan's Shaktipas, whatever, free boob job.
Free boob job.
And then, of course, Jeff Lowe, not really a sex cult, more of a douchebag squad, gets to party in Vegas with a rented Ferrari, free do-rag, snitches welcome.
Pretty much.
I mean, it's so true. It's like, I mean, look at all these characters. It's just, this is, you know, someone said like they're going to make this into a movie. I guarantee you the rights are already being fucking optioned right now, you know? And I have a feeling like it's going to be a pretty interesting film because these guys are all real characters. Like the Jeff Lowe character to me was one of the more interesting because you knew he's just a douchebag. He had no money.
Right.
And he just conned everybody into making
Fake it until you make it.
Fake it till you make it until they ran out of cash and then they screwed him over. But then by then he already had the assets off that and he could bounce it. You know, he could use that to kind of move his way up. What I don't get is seriously though, with like what that was brought up in the last episode of the show, with all of these people like Jeff and the other guy who was given the $3,000 to go out there and kill Carole, fucking like, how come they didn't go to jail? Right.
Yeah.
When there's those audio clips of them talking and he's like, the whole goal here is to fuck over Joe.
That's what I was talking about. I think there has to be some type of follow-up with and some more fallout with Jeff Lowe and his, you know, his right hand guy over there. There has to be. I mean, they seem like they were just about as guilty or, you know, part of the plan as Joe Exotic was.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is, I don't even think look, I mean, honestly, I don't think Joe was in on the plan. Not to the, I mean, there was enough evidence of him saying, I want that bitch dead. There's him, you know, shooting the mannequin of her multiple times, blowing it up with, you know, small explosives. And just how much he hated her.
Yeah, I think it was just circumstantial.
Yeah, it was very circumstantial. That's why they had to get him on the animal stuff, the 19 charges, and that was even what the one FBI lawyer had said. It's like, you know, people won't stand for animal abuse, and that's absolutely fucking true.
Right.
But it's like that's how they had to get him on that shit. But it's still, there's so many lingering questions that popped up in my mind as I'm watching this, and then at the same time, I'm like, how much of this is what they're showing me, and how much so I need to spend the time and do the research into it to see. You know, what the case was or how much was there that we didn't get to see. But based upon how the documentary laid it out, I mean, it does come across like Joe got fucking set up and that the FBI just wanted a fall guy. You know, like that's what it feels like to me. It's like they just wanted a fall guy.
They picked the dumbest one of the bunch, which was Joe Exotic.
But for what purpose though? Like that's the thing I don't get. For what purpose? What would it do to stop Joe? He was already not working at the zoo anymore.
Carole wanted him destroyed. That she wanted him destroyed. Jeff wanted the fucking zoo because that was his one chance. There was enough, at least assets there, with the animals for him. Even if he didn't open another one, for him to at least, you know, make something on.
Well, to me,
Bhagavan was just watching it like some kind of fucking weirdo.
Yeah. Well, safety here says, and this was at the end. This was at the very last episode. Yeah. It does say here that Bhagavan has compound raided, and apparently Carole Baskin is now under investigation for murder. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a lot there. I wouldn't be surprised if Carole Baskin disappears herself. You know, if she shuts everything down. But she, you know, when Joe made that comment about how she's just like him. And she wants the fame and she wants the money and she wants the power. And then you start like looking into her organization a bit. You're like, oh, totally. She 100% wanted to be that, you know, that kind of Dawn, you know, and then just to make it all about her and everything else. And it's like, yeah, when they showed like the overhead shots of her sanctuary and it wasn't very big.
No,
you know,
pretty small. It
was pretty small comparatively. I mean, because there was a shot in the trailer for you know, for Tiger King. Let me see if I can find it. I'll grab a screenshot.
Yeah, she had bank though. She had money enough.
They didn't say how much money.
There was conflicting reports. Someone said his net worth was something like 10 million. Someone said 20 million. And it just got
it kind of bounced around. Yeah, between that 10 and 20 million, you know, ceiling.
Yeah.
You know,
his one guy who worked for him said there's probably money buried all over the place because he just hid all his money everywhere.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, that guy probably did save his cat. You know, I mean, that's the whole thing. You could tell that that no one likes Carole because they didn't interview anyone who likes Carole. I mean, the only person that was there that liked her was her fucking husband. And,
Was her husband,
and
yeah.
that dude, I give that guy credit for how calm he was throughout the whole thing. That dude was like calm and collected.
Hold on. Just being in a lifestyle. Okay. The fact they took a wedding pictures and he was on all fours and she had a leash on him.
Oh,
the dude is very
That's
submissive.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's
Right.
also,
Dude
but he's
is
also
very submissive.
that's probably his kink. Like I would assume
Right.
there's probably a fair amount of pegging.
There's
going
something
on.
going
I'm
on.
not,
There's
it's
something
just
going
like,
on.
I'm not even, I'm not shaming that lifestyle. And I have friends that are into that. I'm not, that's fine. But that's why he's not a dominant personality, because she's the one that's the dominant personality in a relationship, not him. So of course he's gonna do whatever the fuck she says.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be the next one fed to the tiger.
Oh, exactly. So okay, so check this out here. This is I grabbed the screenshot. This is this is Joe's park. This is how big it was. I mean, to give you an idea of just how big, like the sign up looks like this is like the way in. And then you get the stage. I mean, look at all this shit.
That looks as big as Brookfield Zoo out here in the south side of Chicago by me.
I mean, it was, I mean, they had bought at the end of it when they had gone to South Oklahoma by the Texas border, they got 40 acres. So, I mean, clearly this wasn't 40 acres. That was meant to be bigger, but this is definitely,
Wow. I know. I mean, are the pictures actually representative of the animals he had at the park?
yeah.
Because I know he had a lot of different types, but fucking camels?
Yeah, there was I see the camel right there. I mean, he had a lot. We didn't see everything that they had, but he had a lot. I mean, is that a fucking bear down there at the bottom?
Yeah, it is a bear.
That
So
may-
yeah.
I mean,
Bear.
Kangaroo?
A kangaroo. I think it's an otter under. I think it's an otter, probably. Like
Yeah.
That's
like now I want to see fucking footage of the entire park. I feel like we have now been shown.
Is that a fucking three-toed sloth all the way on the left bottom
Most likely.
above the chimps? It looks like a three-toed sloth.
There's a-
Is that a pizza in the corner over there, left corner?
yes, it is.
Fucking
That
pizza.
that's the pizza map.
Wow.
There's the pizza map.
I'm pretty sure. Hey, and look, it's right by the park entrance.
It's right.
Exactly.
It's
Right
it's
when you
right.
walk in.
It's right by where the meat truck would drop things off. Holy crap! Oh my god, that's fucking funny. But yeah, we can see like there's a lot that he had built up. Liger Island, the picnic area. What is that? A barn. They had a burger barn. So what the fuck is a burger barn? I see the tiki bar / pizza restaurant. That's what that one is. And then
Wow.
Potted deck.
the party deck, a
Oh
nursery.
yeah, party deck and nursery.
I guarantee you, like there's a reason why those two are right next to each other. Probably because that's where he showed all the footage of them, like people getting like the pictures taken with the tiger cub,
Right.
and just moving down the line and everything else. So I mean, you could tell the business that he was doing. I mean, he must have been pulling into so much fucking money back in the day. Like,
And you know
Damn.
this is true because I heard people talking about how the alligators that died in that fire were Michael Jackson's alligators or something to the effect. That's
I heard that too. Or did it say that in the documentary?
it didn't say it in the documentary. Yeah.
But I remember hearing that as well. That those alligators belonged to Michael Jackson at one point.
Oh, maybe they did say it. Maybe I was because I mean I was trying to figure out, like, in my mind during that whole point I was going like, man, my God, like what the hell is going on here? Like what is the like, this is insane. Like they burned this whole barn down, this entire studio. As a film producer and a person who likes my gear, that made me cry internally. I was so
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Oh, can we also forget how this woman actually has a huge subscriber base on YouTube? That she's probably pulling in some bank as a fucking YouTuber.
Yeah, as a YouTuber,
Oh, which one? The Carole Baskin?
Carole Baskin.
Yeah. She's probably got, actually she posted a video that was
She had like 3 or 4 million subscribers or something.
she had it on Facebook. She had a lot of people, and Instagram she had a lot of people too. But let's see here. I'm looking at her YouTube channel right now.
Maybe that's what it was. Those Facebook.
30 she's
But
only got
still.
like 34,600 followers on Big Daily Big Cat. So yeah, and they
But Facebook, you can monetize Facebook too, though, can't you?
yeah, if you have enough people to monetize it. There's a nearly a 10-minute video of Howard Baskin talking about the show. It's a very personal message, obviously, because of the way it's framed. And so I don't know, like, that's a little bit too much to go through. I think I need to watch the whole thing, try to find some good clips. But it's just, yeah, like, I mean, you can tell, like, Doc Antel, these guys are all coming out like, whoa, 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 we're not Joe Exotic, man.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
we didn't try to fucking murder a lady, man. It's like, I don't know, did Joe?
Yeah.
I mean, Joe was so angry at Carole. He would have gone and done it himself. I really do. I think that if he would have manipulated those guys into being gay, because, for years.
Yeah.
And then I loved it when that one dude left because he got the receptionist pregnant. They got the front desk girl pregnant. And then
The ex-husband.
yeah, and then he just goes like, I mean, he left me for a girl. How do you compete with that? Like, for another guy, I can compete, but for a girl, I can't compete with that.
Yeah, I can't compete with that. I gotta tell you though, there is a difference between what Joe did and what Doc Antel did. If you really look at his background, everything he went through, and it's not to be sympathetic of Joe Exotic, but it's the truth. He was kind of ostracized his whole life, and nobody cared about him. And he was always he tried to find ways to buy love.
Yeah,
if you okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he told them they couldn't leave, but let's be fair, they didn't leave because they wanted to fucking meth. That's why they didn't leave. Okay. So it wasn't a manipulation, it was more of a buying their love to keep them there. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas Doc Antel, it was severe manipulation, it was severe brainwashing and changing how they think and changing their names and a cult mentality.
Changing how they look.
Right. So it was a complete different situation. His was a complete manipulation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Joe didn't really lie. He didn't lie to them about anything. I mean, he just told them, "Hey, I'll keep giving you the meth. Just stay here."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, deep down, he had to know. I mean, he had to know that there was like that level of manipulation. But I mean, they also, I think, were willful participants. And granted, drug fueled polygamy.
Do you watch porn? Do you like when the guy with the little one gives it to her, or the guy with the big one? Well, he said the big one said, "Well, you ain't as straight as you thought you were."
Yeah, like that to me, I watched that. When he said that, I thought to myself, dude, goddamn, that's a good pickup line if you're gay.
Yeah. He's pretty fucking smooth with it.
Like, that's a smooth line. It's all like, that's how you go in there and undermine their confidence. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, do you like blowjobs? Well, yeah, obviously. Would you, but hey, a guy knows what a guy wants. You ever thought about that? Well, I mean, no, but close your eyes. And like, no, this is a true story. Many, many, many years ago, I met a dude in San Diego that offered me $200 to suck my dick. Like, he was like, that was his kink. And he would invite college boys over and he's like, you want it? I'm like, no, I'm good. Thank you, sir. But like, no, people out there, they can manipulate. They like changing. They like going after the straight guys. They like trying to change them.
I had a coworker, and mind you, he was a real good guy, friend of mine, and we got along great. I went to his wedding. He was gay, and we would at work talking and joking around all the time. And he would always say to me, "All it takes is a 6-pack." Like, dude, no, I'm telling you.
No, I'm telling you, man. Like, I've seen that shit firsthand, and it's like, it can happen. I had friends of mine, one in the Navy, one in the Marines, both straight as an arrow for the most part. They both got real hammered one night. I was driving us home from Mexico, and all of a sudden they started making out in the back seat of the car, and I'm going, what the hell is going on? And then I dropped them off and I hid their keys. They stole their other car and they got arrested at the border trying to go back. So that was a fun evening. But I mean, all it takes is a 6-pack in some cases. People out there, you know what? I mean, sexuality is fluid depending on the situation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, if gender is fluid, so is sexuality. And we're kind of always in that situation.
To be perfectly honest, he was joking around me. But it was a joke in reference to me.
Yeah.
But he's right. Since it is so fluid that, I mean, because people have this idea, it's like only girls experiment in college. They do the whole threesome and lesbian thing when they're nah, bro. That's just humankind. If people do this, they do.
And that's kind of how I view those particular guys. Is that when they were young, but like also you know what? I'll be honest here. Like, when I was watching the episode, I kind of had a smile on my face when Joe and the dude with no teeth were like hugging up on each other, because it did feel genuine. Like, there was genuine love there, even if it wasn't like
care for him. I mean,
he did care. They cared for each other. And And I know, and that came through, and I was like, man, that's actually really sweet. I think in the first, like, that's the thing with the documentary too. They did a real good job at framing Joe as being like the underdog hero.
Yes.
And they did a great job at that. Like, again, the editor and the storytelling aspect of it is like, he's the hero, everyone else is the villain, and Joe gets fucked in the end. And now, and then now there's like the underdog swelling to kind of come out. And I'm not kidding you. This popped up on the Wrap today. This is true. Trump says he'll take a look at pardoning Tiger King star Joe Exotic.
Oh my God.
No fucking way.
This is.
I just realized what they tried to do with this. They tried to make a not so serious yet serious.
It's making a murderer just a lot more funny.
Exactly. And someone in my Discord called it white trash Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Here's the fucking clip.
For a long time too. Go ahead.
One of the biggest rating hits of the coronavirus, aside from these briefings, has been a show on Netflix called Tiger King.
Yeah.
And the man who's the star of this is a former zoo owner who's serving a 22-year prison sentence. He's asking you for a pardon, saying he was unfairly convicted. Your son yesterday jokingly said that he was going to advocate for it, and I was wondering if you've seen the show and if you have any thoughts on pardoning Joe Exotic.
Which son? It must be Don. I had a feeling it was Don. Is that what he said? I don't know. I know nothing about it. He has 22 years for what? What did he do?
He allegedly hired someone to murder an animal rights activist, but he said that he didn't do that, and he was.
You think he didn't do it? Are you on his side?
Well,
Are you recommending a pardon?
I'm not advocating
As a
anything.
reporter, you're not allowed to do that. You'd be criticized by these. Would you recommend a pardon?
I'm not weighing on
I don't think you would. I don't think you would. Go ahead. You have a question? I'll take a look. Is that Joe Exotic? That's Joe Exotic.
Let me get back to the coronavirus.
Okay.
I know how you feel about Trump, but you gotta
No,
admit,
I love that. I fucking love that. That was good.
he was trolling the reporter with that.
Oh
really.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, and like the thing is, but the reporter, you gotta give credit to the reporter for the setup, right? He teed him up. He teed up that response real well. Oh well, if you heard about the ratings hit, not along with these corona
wanted
meetings.
to catch him another stupid phrase. That's what they were
Yeah,
trying.
but like,
Yeah.
but the thing is, like, I mean, look at Kim Kardashian teaming up with Trump to get that woman out of jail, which is, I called that too. From the second Kanye started like tweeting about Trump and shit, I'm like, this is what they want. This is what they're going for, and I was proven right. And that's the thing, is like criminal justice reform is something that Trump is taking an interest in, and I do actually, I'm behind that. And I just
he let go one of the dirtiest of the dirtiest Democrats from Chicago.
Blagojevich, whatever.
Blagojevich.
Yeah, I know.
Blagojevich,
It was
yeah.
he was treated so unfairly.
I lived with him.
Yeah. I just thought that was that was like, he was so treated unfairly. I was so dumb. But like the thing is, that clip is fucking awesome.
That's funny.
Because he's playing up the crowd. He's playing up the crowd. Like, oh, are you recommending a pardon?
Yeah.
No, I can't. Oh, they would criticize you if you did that. But if you, the guy should have said yes. The guy. I mean, the thing is, like, look, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I do kind of want to see Joe Exotic get pardoned, because and that's just based upon the initial.
Back on TV again.
I do. I would do. If they brought back Joe Exotic TV, I'd watch that shit. Like, come on, you'd watch it too. We'd all put that shit on Quibi. Like, bring it to Quibi. Just 10 minutes of Joe Exotic. Like, fuck it.
I mean, I think he did. He did get kind of the the short end of the stick with all of this. I mean, he was, like we said before, he was the dumbest one out of all of them to get caught. I mean, it's not even on for the actual criminal threats. It's for the violating the laws regarding the animals. But
can we call the jail and see if he would come on for an interview?
He probably would. I'll find out where he's at, and I'll shoot off an email, and see if we can.
This is my idea. It's not going to your fucking channel.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll let you be there. How about that? That's you said it on my Twitch channel. Technically, I own the IP. So,
Robert, help me out here, Robert.
hey, I'll just show it wherever you want me to go.
There we go. I don't
even have a fucking channel.
You dirty bitch, Robert.
Can we put it on Nuke the Fridge? I'll write it up on Nuke the Fridge.
Yeah, there we go. Right. Finally, he'll copy that press release from the LAPD and put it up on fucking Nuke the Fridge. But I think if you could get an interview with Joe Exotic, by all means, I would be there with popcorn. I'd want to be in on it to ask a lot of questions. Because for one, like, I do have a lot of questions. Like, for one, like, why is it he married Dylan 2 months after the other guy died? That did, I mean, like, that did bother me. That I don't think that put him in a good light. I understand like the lonely and the despair.
Because he was actually gay.
No. It doesn't matter if that guy was actually gay. That does not what I'm talking about.
Gay, and he's actually trying to help go out to get out to be together again.
Yeah, no, I get that, and I respect the hustle, Dylan's angle here. But what I mean by that is like there's still, I mean, there's like the optics issue, like the mom of the kid who died, and she's like, look, he called me up, asked me to go to the wedding. I thought it was going to be a big deal. It was just us and a photographer, and he never contacted me again. Like that showed me it was an optics game. And I get it. I like from a PR perspective, from a marketing perspective, I completely understand the optics on it. But also Joe needed to have companionship. He needed to have somebody there.
Yeah. He absolutely does.
I mean, but listen to what they said, like right around that same time about like how many trucks he bought that one guy, all the quads, all the ATVs, like, everything else.
Right.
He he blew all this money on these guys just to keep them around. And this Dylan dude,
that's what he kept saying. He's like, he kept buying me things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but even Dylan is like still around and he's like, I love you. I mean, I have to ask the question, is that real?
Well, I think it is.
I think
he with him
Maybe for Joe it is.
Well, I mean, even
about it, he came after he lost everything. The zoo was already it was already
Oh, that's true.
Jeff's. He was broke. He was broke at that point.
well, he was out there like stealing the tigers and selling them and whatnot. And that was another thing they got him on too, was not just the animal cruelty of killing those 5 tigers, but then the illegal selling. And then it was also like that was part of the 19 counts. Right. And that I'm pretty sure he actually fucking did. But the murder for hire plot, like this is what I keep going back to on that one. Because, okay, for one, real quick, because we're on the subject of like the guy who died. Can you like, dude, what was your guys' reaction when that fucking shot went off?
It was pretty shocking.
I was holding my phone and I dropped it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew something was going to happen, but I didn't realize it was going to happen right there.
Right.
While we were talking to him.
Yeah. And just I mean, you can see the horror on the guy's face as he's watching him. The friend, I guess that was, or the guy that was sitting
the campaign manager.
Right. When he's sitting there and he's looking at him, and I can't remember, I don't remember exactly like what he's mouthing, but like he's saying something, but he's just looking at him. I mean, I've seen videos of people shooting themselves and how horrific it looks. It's fucking horrible. It's the worst stuff. It's images like I'll never get out of my mind. I have seen those videos with my line of work, and it's the sounds, without being too graphic, but just the look. It's a horrible thing to have to ever see. But yeah, that was even for me, that was shocking. And you don't even see it. You just see the reaction of the campaign manager.
It was horrible. You heard the noise and you saw like there was like a flash.
Yeah.
Like it's coming. Something is coming, and then it's just
it was building up. Yeah,
because they kept showing all the footage of him with the guns, like pointing at people. Like that was his thing. That's what he liked to do. And I'm like, nah, man. Like he didn't. I'm like, no. He left. He must have gone home.
I knew something was up with him just for the fact that he was the only one that was not being interviewed.
Yeah.
There was footage of him. He was
I thought he like OD'd or something. I really thought he like OD'd on something. I didn't think the dude actually fucking accidentally shot himself.
Yeah, like, oh, I got a Luger and there's no clip and it doesn't work if there's no clip. And I'm like, at that point, I'm like, oh, you dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, but I wasn't expecting it to be, because even that campaign manager says like the camera's right on me. Yeah. Like almost as if it was staged. I think that's what he said. It's something.
He also said he thought he was joking. He's like, it can't be real. It didn't really just happen. And he's like, it's nothing like it is in the movies. At all.
I mean, I've been around the internet long enough to have seen a lot of shit. And it's like, you watch movies look, you can handle movies. Like my buddy of mine like picked up bodies at the coroner's office in San Diego for years. And he's like, the movies look way better than real life. And I'm like, you're twisted. But that was to me, that was a real turning point for the whole series, because you could kind of see, I mean, at least if this is the framing, right? We're talking halfway through episode 5. There's 2 full episodes left to go. At that point, we're going down. This is the apex of Joe Exotic. This is when he goes downhill.
Right.
I mean, granted, bringing in Jeff Lowe, that was, because Carole got, I mean, like that was the thing with Joe. It's like, dude, you're doing the big cat rescue entertainment. I mean, you are just playing with fucking fire, man. And he got burned to the point of where he had to basically just give away his zoo.
And don't ever let Joe Exotic do your eulogy either, because he's gonna talk about rubbing balls on your face and.
Yep.
Well, but no, that was actually really sweet in my, because I mean that was, I'll tell you.
I don't know.
Hold on. Because it's like I got dumb shit friends who do that shit too. You know, like friends that like, you know, you're out somewhere and they pull their nuts up and put it over their waistband and they turn around and they fucking like they nut, you know.
Yeah,
so
we all have friends. I mean, I know dudes that, you know, when we would all get drunk, you know, someone's getting balls put on their face. I get it. But do you really want that in the fucking eulogy?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Yes. If it was me, it would, yeah. And I'll tell you why. Because that is the most honest representation of that person. In that moment, when all those people who knew him and they loved him, you could tell there were people that were like legitimately sobbing at that funeral, right? Like you could see the body language. In that moment, when you were thinking about how this person you loved died, and you think about to a moment where it's just absurdly stupid, but that also summarizes their sense of humor, and that's the memory people hold of them, regardless of how dumb it is. It's moving in many ways because it's so unique. It's just unique to that moment in my mind. It's unique to that moment.
I know, but his mom was in the front row.
Dude, fuck it. My mom would laugh her ass off if I did. She could, yeah, sounds like Matt. You know, like these people, the thing is though, this is what I love about those characters, the characters in this documentary, is like they're real. They're Americana, right? They're the underdogs. They're like the people we don't see in most modern society. The people that are just these guys were like 100% just being legit, like that producer guy, you know, was just being legit all the way through. Those people working like where they loved Joe, they loved their job with all the hardships that came with it, but they were being legit. And at the end, when they had to testify against him, you know, hearing that one guy, the campaign manager, saying like, "Look, you're either on Team Joe or Team Government. Which one do you want to be on?" You know, I'm like, no, the FBI will make those kind of threats against you. And it's like, they built this case against Joe to take him the fuck down. And I still can't quite figure out why, because at that point he was done. You know, it's just, they wanted to get rid of him for some reason. And then of course he starts snitching on fucking everybody.
Yeah.
I loved it. I just loved it. He's like, I don't give a shit. I'm like, I'm not in the animal game anymore. What do I got to fucking lose? At that point, I'm like, dude, anyone, like he's probably got like just that fucking shot of Dylan going to the storage unit. And then, like she's looking in the files and the documentarian. Oh, Doc Antel. Oh no, not that one.
No, not that one. Not that one. Don't show that one.
I'm just saying, it's like there's a lot of like little moments in the documentary that I think really kind of just exemplify human life. You know, in such a weird way. It's like such a unique way of going about it. That's why I love this documentary. I think it's so well put together. The editor, I think, deserves a fucking Emmy.
Absolutely.
I really do think deserves an Emmy. I think if Trump watches this thing, because Don Jr., I saw Don Jr. in an interview with I forget who it was, and he's like, oh yeah,
cheap it is to buy a tiger.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, we watched it like in 2 sittings. You know, we watched it in 2. We just binged it. And it's like the thing is, those guys probably look at Joe Exotic like, I totally understand him. You know, like like just that whole line of, I don't know, I could get a tiger for $2,000. Like, you know, at that point he was like looking up, where the fuck can I put a tiger?
Where can I put a tiger?
You know, like, can I put one in my fucking apartment? Like, you can tell, like, this is where you've got the crazy aspect of Trump's business family looking at this guy from a business perspective and everything. But you know, Don Jr. is going to be like, Dad. We got to do it, Dad. Like, come on, Dad. Give him a pardon. If he fucking pardons Joe Exotic, let's say Trump loses the election, right? Who knows if that's going to fucking happen after today. But let's say Trump loses the election, right? On the last day, like Obama's last day in office, where he fucking pardoned Chelsea Manning, commuted her sentence down. I could imagine like just the news headline of Donald Trump fucking pardons Joe Exotic. And that would be like, man, I would take 4 more years. Like, that's where we end up on this.
Here's the thing. Even if he could even do it, because I got to be honest with you. I guarantee you a good majority of his base wants Joe Exotic free. So I'm telling you.
Most likely. I mean, I would sign that petition just to be, because
that's a very good point.
I mean, like as a total like left coast Democrat, right? Like, it's just, I'm like, oh fuck, I want to see this guy out. Like, I want to see this guy get out, and I want to see him like for one, I want to see a Joe Exotic complete fucking tour. You know, I want to see Joe Exotic on fucking Stephen Colbert. You know, I want to see him unfiltered on like Seth Meyer, or, you know, or go on fucking Real Time with Bill Maher.
Bill
And
Maher,
we say
right?
this because not a last one of us believe he is in any danger to society.
Yeah, I don't think he's a danger to society. Now, is he a danger to himself? That's a different fucking story.
Exactly.
But like, I mean, you look at a guy like that, like, okay, from like, I would say being a YouTuber, right? Like, I have to approach this from being like, that's my primary. I look at this guy, this larger than life personality, wants to be famous, wants to be loved. We all know people who are like that. And he goes out there and he gets this zoo. And then he builds this, like, he just wants to go on the internet and do a show. So he hires a fucking reality TV show producer to run the entire thing. And then, you know, that guy was like feeding him stuff to do. Like, that guy was feeding him and feeding him and feeding him and feeding him. And Joe's personality kept, you know, going along with it, really going along with it. And so from there, they just built it up. And then it was just
the throne.
The throne. And then that whole line about him he kept us rewatching the footage.
Yeah.
You know, and as I'm like, I'm like, no, it's good looking footage. Like, you know, he's probably watching just an animated loop of that thing over and over and over again and jerking off.
Wouldn't be surprised.
No, I mean, it's just like, then he had like him going down to Carole Baskin's place and then like taking off his shirt, you get the 3 bullet holes tattooed on his chest, and then like taking a picture in front of her sign with some real Alex Jones level shit. I mean, oh God, just imagine Joe Exotic and Alex Jones having a conversation.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
That at this point is something I would pay to see.
I think it's hilarious that all his friends all pointed to that throne as the turning point.
Well, his ego. His ego got the best of him.
That's when things went downhill.
Yeah, his ego got the best of him all the way through. I really, but I mean, it was 7 episodes. It was really solid. It was really well put together. I was trying to get my girlfriend to watch it, and she's like, "No, I'm good." And I'm like, "No, but it's like really interesting." She's like, "No, I'm fine." I'm like, "Fuck."
You want to laugh because I talked Max. I didn't even. Well, I don't have to talk Max in anything. It's pretty easy. All I gotta do is suggest something, and Max is like, yeah.
So you have to just give him meth and weed, and he's all on it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
No, but it's not that bad. But no, because we were talking about Tiger King, and we were laughing about how when he was literally just trying to troll Carole and take away all her viewership, he made that company Big Cat Rescue Entertainment.
Oh God! No, now I know why. Is that why? Why?
Go look at Max's channel.
I know. I've been looking at his channel, and that's why I'm asking you. Is that why?
Yes, that is
Oh
why.
my God!
Because I told him, I go, Max, you should call your channel Geeks and Gamers.
Oh my God! And not Geeks
Is that
Plus
what he
Gamers.
did?
That's what he did.
That was
Now, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my
Dude,
God!
I love the guy because here's the thing. I have all the crazy ideas, and he's the one who's like, yeah, I'll do it.
So what you're saying is, like, in this particular sphere, Max is the Joe Exotic. We have to watch out. No, like, no. Max is he's a really good guy.
Joe Exotic.
Max is a really good guy. I like Max quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh well. Okay. Safety here says we haven't talked about Joe's $60,000 embezzled presidential campaign. Yeah. I mean, no. That was another thing too. Is like Joe was a criminal. Like he was straight up a thief. Like you know, like we're joking.
Never prosecuted him on that.
No, they never did. Well, because also because Jeff never brought it up.
Yeah.
Jeff would have to file the charges on him, right? Otherwise, it's just, you know, he could say we have the paperwork to say this, but if the company doesn't file the suit or doesn't press the charges, like I don't think they're going to do anything.
Well, Joe was kind of saying that was all trumped up. He was just doing it for the cameras.
Yeah, so everything Jeff did. Well, that was the thing I don't get about Jeff. Like that whole recording of him, you know, saying you stole all this money. You want Carole Baskin dead. That one recording where it's at a Dutch angle.
All entrapment.
You know, it's that to me came across like it was like they're setting him up for something, because you could see Joe's expression, because he's like he's kind of like, what, like what's going on here? And then there was that one line at the end though when Joe's like when Jeff and the other, I think the other Joe, the other fat dude, the strip club guy,
the guy
who sold him a fucking stolen Hummer.
Yeah.
And then you're like, but wait, how the hell does this guy with no legs fucking own? Okay, and I don't, don't want to like whatever.
He has all you need the bottom of your legs for is to push the pedals.
Yeah,
he has thighs. He can push the pedals.
I thought he had the most interesting arc at the end, real quick though, when he's just like, I realized how toxic my life was, being in that place.
Left everybody.
So I left my wife, and now I live on my own, and I'm doing much better. And I'm just like, yeah, you look like you're doing better.
Yeah,
you look like you have a stress-free life. You know, you're sitting there in your camper trailer and you're just watching TV and you know what, working on a car. Fuck it. Like you're welding. But there was that line though where they're talking about the looking at the Google Maps, right? This is the thing I don't get is like it does appear like they were the ones that were setting up the whole conversation surrounding killing Carole Baskin. You know, like and Joe, but there was that line there that were like I think Joe had said he's like I wasn't even in the room.
Yeah, the campaign manager said he was sitting at his desk, not paying attention.
Yeah.
The manager said that Jeff and them were all talking about it, and Joe was just.
So there's a lot there that like there's a lot that is really just it's really suspicious how it all kind of came together. Like, you know, that guy gets the money, but okay, again, back on that when Joe says on that was Thanksgiving where he got the 3,000, right? And he had cooked a Thanksgiving dinner for 150 people, and then they'd raised the money there. And then they show him at the Thanksgiving, right, at the dinner, and all those people had come on in. So like we know he wasn't lying about cooking all the food. He was actually doing whatever it was. And then Jeff had said, "Give that 3,000 to that other guy," and then that would then set up the "I gave you $3,000. You could sit there, you know. Now we can sit there and say for whatever purpose,
right?"
And then a couple episodes earlier, when we get introduced to that guy, he's like, "I fucking hate Joe. I don't work for him. I fucking hate that guy." So it's like. Everything about this to me says like, yeah, there needs to be an actual formal investigation into this. I feel like the FBI completely fucked up.
Well, you heard the call though between Jeff and him. He was like, "Well, this is what you got to tell him, and this is what you got to say." I mean, I don't even know how that even stuck if that phone call exists.
If only we knew someone with law enforcement experience that could talk upon this issue, because I feel like it would be a good source of conversation for a subject matter expert that could possibly be in the call right now.
I was looking at. I'm trying to find out how many years he has.
74 or something like that.
Nah. He got out when he's 74. He's getting like 23 years is what he got.
God damn, it's a lot of time for that.
Well, it's a lot. I mean, but it's they found him guilty on all 19 charges. And he was facing up to 79 years, I think, and then they ended up knocking it down to 23. Interestingly enough, Harvey Weinstein also got that same amount of time.
Yeah, 23 years. That seems fucking heavy-handed.
Yeah, a little bit heavy-handed there.
I literally think, though, he got X amount of years for each tiger. He got more for the tigers than the thing with Carole. I'm telling you, if you
oh, yeah.
I know you have the access, Robert. Pull up the files and find out for us, okay?
Robert. He knows people who might be able to get. He's got insight. So that's another reason why I'm
public record though.
A lot of it should be, yeah.
It would be public record. You'd be able to get like the actual arrest report and the DA the DA filings. You would be able to pull them.
I'm sure somebody is, yeah.
All we need is the sentencing, because the sentencing determines. Tell us what he got for what.
Well, the sentence, yeah. I mean, they didn't show it in the documentary, but I'm pretty sure that information's out there. I mean, like CNET here has an article that's like 9 things you didn't know about the show, and it talks a bit about like Joe not singing. Don't blame the tiger for that missing hand. Okay, she just. Oh wow. Okay, well, I guess that tiger wasn't put down. That bit the girl's hand off. John Finley got his teeth fixed. Well, that's good. Apparently, David Spade has been interviewing everybody on the show. Those alligators were famous, so that was Michael Jackson's.
Okay.
The accident that took John Rinke's legs was even worse than described. That's crazy.
Wow.
Shaq is not Joe Exotic's friend. Because they had played it up like that. That was pretty funny. Petting cubs has a dark side. Most of the tigers that were around were subjected to abject cruelty. We saw babies being torn from their mothers and screaming. They'd get sick from being handled so much and get ringworm and mange. It was disturbing. Well, there was that shot too of like when they were breeding and they tried pulling that cub out and then it got its head stuck on the fence and like Joe was trying to
under the fence, right?
Under the fence, yeah. That was I was like, oh, come on, man. And then number 8 here is Carole's husband is still missing. So that's great. And then Joe loves the publicity, of course, obviously. That's not even like something that we didn't know. Joe he's got to be absolutely loving this whole situation right now with this, documentary, because everyone's talking about him. And he's got like, it's one of those things where it's like he's got more support than he ever had before. So this is a tweet that popped up here.
Sorry to interrupt, but I found the sentencing.
Okay.
He says U.S. District Judge Scott L. Polk sentenced Maldonado Passage, which is his new name, to 264 months in federal prison. The sentence includes 108 months on each of the 2 murder for hire counts to run consecutively with each other, 12 months on each of the Endangered Species Act violations to run concurrently to each other, and all their counts, 48 months on each of the Lacey Act violations to run concurrently. So he got 2 years on the Lacey Act, 12 months, another year on the endangered animal. So yeah, the most of it was the murder for hire counts. So you got 100.
Okay.
Jesus.
And those are running concurrently?
Concurrently.
Okay.
Well, the 108 months for the murder for hire are consecutively.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be.
So
that's crazy. Yeah.
So that's most of it. That's 216 months just from the murder for hire.
Has there been any word on an appeal? Has he filed an appeal? Is there anything that?
I'm sure there's an appeal.
I think there's going to be an appeal, and he may have a good shot in an appeal. I mean, I don't know what his defense was like with
happened in January. So I mean, it's still early.
Yeah, it's super early. So I'm sure he's going to file an appeal. He'll probably get his reduced or his sentence reduced significantly if he does win anything. But yeah, I don't think he's going to do that full time. There's no way.
Well, apparently he tried filing an $89 million false arrest lawsuit. Joe Exotic did. So, and this is popping up just today, actually, on Deadline. Is talking about this. Let me bring the article up. This is brand new information.
There we go.
Breaking here, 3 Book Theater Twitch. So this is what they say. So Tiger King Joe Exotic suffers 2 big bites in his $89 million false arrest law. Fuck, dude, Netflix is clearly giving him that kind of cash. The amount of money Netflix is going to make off of this is fucking Making a Murderer 2.0.
Right.
Let's see. Looking certain to spend a lot longer behind bars. Joe Exotic has been hit with 2 big losses in his $89 million false arrest lawsuit. First, a federal judge yesterday scathingly advocated tossing out the March 17th initiated legal action by the former owner of Oklahoma's Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park. Then today, another judge rejected the currently incarcerated Exotic's attempt to force a recusal in the civil matter. I'm assuming the civil matter is Carole Baskin and that $1 million, because we never got a conclusion on that.
Right, on the money that he owed her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, all in all, even with Netflix claiming Tiger King snared 34 million unique viewers in the days after this March 20th launch, a bad week of legal on the front of self-representing. Oh God, he's self-representing.
Jesus. See that?
Oh my Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Like I said, they caught the dumb one. I mean, come on.
He's dumb. Yeah, he's dumb.
Someone's got to talk to this guy. I mean, I'm not excusing anything, but I mean, to make it a fair trial.
He's also paranoid. You got to remember that he's very paranoid. And
because they found that recording device and they said that that was on top of the thing, and it's like they showed it in the show,
right?
And then they go, oh, but the FBI was doing an investigation. Well, was that from the FBI?
Yeah, you don't know the source of that mic.
Yeah, but you remember this guy burned down an entire enclosure with alligators in it because he was so paranoid.
Right.
Well, allegedly,
right?
Allegedly burned it down. He was out of town when that happened.
Yeah.
He was out of town when it happened. And then destroyed all that data. And here's the thing: when it comes to that producer, here's why I don't feel bad. Bitch, you did not back it up.
Yeah,
you
didn't back anything up.
Like, how do you not back anything? That's like, look, that's where I'm sorry. There was that allegation that was like Carole Baskin paid him $20,000 to like burn it all down. I mean, and he's like, this is my retirement fund. This is my, at that point, look, if you realize you're going down this pathway, that there's not going to be a way to make any money off of this.
Yeah. And it's it's all digital. It's not like he was using fucking film. All right.
Yeah. They showed the cameras. Yeah. It was all digital stuff. And they were, clearly it was on hard drive after you back that up, dude. Yeah. Like, what the hell? Like, everyone, like any 101 film school student will be told, back up your footage, if anything, 3 times. Like, have 2 backups and then have your original, just to be on the safe side, just in case, because things can happen. And then look, you're telling me also this guy who runs an internet show didn't back this shit up in the fucking cloud?
Right.
Like there's not like that's the whole thing I didn't believe. Just as any responsible journalist, filmmaker, documentarian will always have a backup.
Right.
To work for him for that long, to run his program for like it was like a couple of years, right? He was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
Live there. And when you're talking about an experienced guy here, it's not like it was just some guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he worked for a national television show. So he wasn't some dude who's brand new or like we're saying, like some kid just out of film school. I mean, no, he's been in the industry for a long time, and to not back up your stuff, there's something weird about that.
Well, Safety Zoom here says there are 2 arsons and Netflix only talked about the one. So that's he'd mentioned that earlier on in the stream too. I just I gotta take a look here at the chat to see where exactly. Okay, he says here they never mentioned it, but there were 2 arsons in the course of a week. The second one killed that producer guy's dog and nearly killed him. For your information, the dog was briefly shown in the Tiger King when the producer guy quit. So that must have been like old footage of him that they repurposed to make it look like to fit the timeline.
He said, "I took all I left was just with me and my dog in my truck."
Yeah. So I mean, that okay. I have no idea.
Yeah, because he did say that was his line, that all he left with was his truck and his dog.
Yeah, it's a shitty ass fucking country song like Joe Exotic sings. I mean, it's but that's the thing, is it felt too perfect for me. It just felt it burned so hot that it knew. I mean, if you look inside some of those photos, it shows there's nothing left on the inside.
No, it obliterated everything.
I mean, the frame was still there.
Yeah,
the walls were still there.
Where'd come from then for all the years of all this documentary work for the Netflix documentary?
I don't know. I want to see an investigation into that guy.
Some Blair Witch shit going on here.
Pretty much. I mean, look, it feels like everyone involved in this is shady as fuck. I think we all can agree on that front.
Pretty much.
So I mean, like, so what exactly then at the end of the day, what becomes everyone's motivations, right? What's the Occam's razor here?
Money.
And like the internet detective in me is like, look, I think that producer guy wanted out, and I think he took it. I do think he burned it down. It makes the most amount of sense. And then he could use it as his way to get the hell out of there. Whether or not Carole paid him or not, we have no idea.
Right.
It could easily have been lying, because he said how we had people lined up to buy the net reality show and this and that. Maybe it was, and then it fell through. And that's
maybe it's like, okay, okay, I'm trying to think here, because if my knowledge of how reality TV shows are made and produced and all that stuff, I mean, obviously there's a lot of footage they had to cut down. They wanted to make it as big and crazy as they could. And it wouldn't be hard. Joe played up to the camera like that, and it was beautiful. So all of that, if they cut together a promo, if they cut together a pilot, and they were talking with a network, that means there would be copies of that pilot. There would be copies of the data. That he wouldn't have been doing it all there. He would have had it at home. That to me is that, and the murder for hire plot are like the 2 most fishy aspects of the entire show.
He's lying for this to come out so he could sell his shit later.
Maybe he'll sit there and go, "Oh, I found a backup copy."
Right.
Right now. No, right now. I mean, this is strike when the iron is hot. If you got, this is like to kind of go back to Donald Trump, they keep saying like, "Oh, there's tapes of him saying the N word on The Apprentice," but like no one has produced those tapes. Well, right now you could probably easily find those footage of Joe Exotic dropping the N word, and I actually would probably argue that
maybe that's that other episode they're talking about making. Maybe.
Well, they're shooting it right now. I don't know if it's going to be with the original. If it's going to be with the original directors or not, because the way this is an article that popped up today the other day on Digital Spy, and this kind of gives you an idea there. It says, oh fuck, I clicked the wrong button. Okay, there we go. So Tiger King's creators revealed Joe Exotic's racism cut from the documentary. Okay, speaking with THR, the show's creator Rebecca Chaiklin explained why the clip had been cut from the documentary series, saying Joe is a racist. I would say categorically. He said things when we were filming that were very unsettling. Really? About race? Not about murdering a woman that he doesn't like. But I mean, there's a line clearly. Whoa, you can talk about all the murder, bloodshed, decimation, destruction of this woman you don't like, but you say the N-word, we out. I don't get. Like, again, this documentary is extremely aimed in one direction, and I'm thankful for that, because it's very interesting where they put it, but still, it's like, come the hell on, She goes on to say here that they didn't have context in the story, but he has a lot to learn. Saying I think a lot of it was ignorance and not having a lot of exposure, and I think he even evolved over the course of the time we had filmed. What is so he was a
evolved,
racist
huh?
who had a redemption arc, and they didn't
Yeah.
they couldn't find the context to put it in there. No, this thing was put together as a gay libertarian business owner who coerces young men into pretending to be gay in order to get meth and weed and then marry him in a polyamorous relationship, while also, tiger cub breeding and everything else. And then getting busted for murder for hire. And then, but we don't want to show him having a bad side. I mean, they don't. They don't. It's a John Good here says, I would say it's very important people to know this. There seems to be a lot of overwhelming amount of empathy for Joe's current husband, Dylan. Okay. Saying we had empathy for Joe, but Joe did a lot of horrible things. Joe committed some really serious crimes, and Joe was not only cruel and inhumane to his animals, he was cruel to the people around him. I think it's very important people understand that Joe is an actor and he tells people what they want to hear. As much as we have empathy for Joe and found Joe to be such an incredible character, the mullet-wearing country singer in Oklahoma, he did a lot of horrible things. Well, like what? This doesn't make any sense to me.
He was charged with.
Well, he was charged with, clearly that, but they're implying it was more. And then there's also this line here about there being an overwhelming amount of empathy for Dylan.
Right, but they're talking about how he treated people. They remember they were living in these trailers with like no electricity. He underpaid them. There was no, they eat off the fucking meat truck, and that's. I mean, add that in, okay? The fact that he manipulated two guys that weren't gay with drugs, then the murder for hire, then how he treated the animals. I think that's pretty good, well-rounded. A lot of horrible things.
Yeah. Oh no, actually, I just kind of want to make a quick caveat. So that whole Walmart meat truck thing actually benefited me last night. I was doing an Instacart. Yeah, no, not a meat truck. Well, because what they said in there was once the meat leaves the rack, right? Once it leaves the cold space in the store, they can't put it back. Because they don't know where it's been.
Right.
And so last night I was doing an Instacart order, which is, being a personal shopper. And this lady wanted this like $60 cut of ham. And the deli was closed, and I came across the ham and I grabbed it thinking that it was for sale. I think it was a display.
Oh.
And I accidentally grabbed it, but I grabbed it because whatever, and I threw it in there. And then I get to the checkout stand, and the girl is like, "This is a kid." It's like 60. It's like a 5-pound ham, but it's like $12 a pound, And so I give it to her, and I'm like, "All right, whatever." And she's like, "Oh, I can't find a barcode." And I was the last customer in the store, and she just wanted to go home. She's like, "Fuck it, you get a free ham."
There you go.
And so then I text the lady. I'm like, "Yeah, so make sure you check the receipt. You didn't pay $60 for that ham." And she's like, "Okay, great." And so she gave me an extra tip as a result of hooking her up on this fucking ham. And I thought about that because I was watching fucking Tiger King, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, wait, they can't give it back. They can't put it back on the shelf. So might as well just give it to me." So that's how you get some free meat. I
pretty much got some free San Pellegrino the other day. I went shopping for just grab, because the way we've been doing shopping lately is instead of doing the weekly, on Saturday shop for everybody thing. When this whole thing started, we did a whole chunk of shopping, did a whole bunch of stuff that we put like in crates downstairs because we didn't have room in the pantry and everything. And now we'll go to the store for like every 2 or 3 days just for like 2 minutes, run in to grab 1 or 2 things we need and go back home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of stocking up and stuff like that. So I went and I needed some pop, and my girlfriend drinks the San Pellegrino mineral water and a couple other items. So I rang it all up, and I was trying, I'm trying to get in and out of this fucking store as quick as possible, social distancing. So I'm trying to get all the stuff out of here, ring it all up, and I did it in my own the self-pay thing. So I paid, left, and then I'm getting in my car and I'm starting to drive off. I'm like, that's only $30. Like, why was that so fucking cheap? So I'm looking at the receipt. The San Pellegrino was a case, and it's like it was like $11.99 for the case, And I looked at it and it says San Pellegrino like $2.50. I'm like, it must have scanned just one of the bottles. So I got the whole case for the price of one bottle.
Nice.
But
Damn.
I just grabbed the case and went, boop. I heard a beep, boop, put it down. That's it. And I didn't even think about it. And then when I was driving home, I'm like, should have been more than $30.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you end up seeing that when it goes on. So I love when that happens because cashiers are like the best way to get free shit. But I mean, really, like, yeah, that Walmart meat truck thing is just, it's a wild living experience. So I mean, yeah, clearly the world that these guys inhabited was definitely unique, but it felt like they were genuine. And again, that's just masterful editing is really kind of putting it together. So we've been on for about an hour and a half with you guys on here, and I know is there any? We probably wrap this up. I'm kind of curious. Any final things you saw? Anything you guys want to mention?
I mean, I think we're going to see more to this. This is definitely not the end. I mean, we know, there's a conclusion to the, I don't know whatever production company is the one that's following up with an additional documentary, but, I'm curious to see where his, legal issues are going to go. I mean, if he utilizes, the proper defense, I think he may have a shot of getting a reduced sentence, but I mean, if he's going to continue to, stay on the paranoid track and try to defend himself, he's stuck for a while. But yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be interesting.
Someone will come on in. There'll be some like some Michael Avenatti-esque type attorney.
There has to be somebody. Somebody's gonna see the opportunity to get a little fame out of it, and try to help him out. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where it's going to go.
And now I'm waiting. Then I'm going to wait for the Joe Exotic tell-all that's going to be on like 60 Minutes. Him sitting there like fake crying because he's like got onions in his pockets, and he's just like, "I'm going to tell you about all the things I didn't do." But it's like everyone's going to go like, "Did you kill the tigers? I euthanized them." Yeah, no. I mean, like, did you? I mean, come on, Well, I mean, I'm not like Doc Antel. I don't gas them and then cremate them. Like, there's a difference. Like, I mean, it'll be very fascinating to see what happens with that one. What about you, Lunga?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more. It's not as bad as it sounds. I wouldn't mind seeing more. It was a pretty fascinating story, and like I said, the White Trash Game of Thrones fits. Even if there's no more shows, I want to see what happens to these. Something's got to happen to these other people.
Right.
I'm hoping to. Yeah, I'm really hoping to. So yeah, I'm in the same boat you guys are. I'm trying to think there's nothing else that we that was main. I mean, there's so many little things we probably didn't talk about, but a lot of it we did. I mean, like at the end of the day, this is compelling television.
Oh yeah,
and it's true. It's reality show true. So take that with a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. But I mean, these events for the most part happened, and that just shows you that how our world is crazy. And it struck at such a great time with the whole pandemic. People are going to be home, and it just shows them this world they never thought possible.
Right.
So expect there to be a lot more documentaries like this, really showcasing the seedy lives of America's forgotten. And I'm there for it, to be honest with you, because you get some of the most interesting stories out of the people who you would not expect.
Right.
So I'm down for that. I'm definitely down for that one.
Better in documentary form. Like I don't want to see a reality show. Like, to be honest with you, if it was Tiger King reality show, I wouldn't have watched it.
No.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Maybe like one episode. Like maybe like one episode to but if it couldn't be like Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. Right, where they got her off of one episode of whatever fucking, I forget the name of the show, and then she blew up on the internet for 5 minutes, and then TLC's like, hey, let's make you a TV show, right? And then I tried watching the first episode, and I was like, well, I would rather blow my head off. This is just,
I can't even do that. The only reality shows I ever watched is the restoration kind, like when they restored old cars, or like American Pickers or something like that. That kind of stuff I watch because it's pretty much the same thing. It's like they're doing this. It's not drama filled or pumped up for it. It's just seeing them fix things and restore stuff. That I like watching. But anything, because I'm old enough to remember The Real World when it first came out, the first season.
Oh yeah, I remember.
That's what started all this reality show shit. Was The Real World. And back then I'm like, oh, this is awesome. You know what I mean? This is fucking cool.
It was Real World and Road Rules and yeah.
And I'm like, and I did watch some of the cooking ones. Like I watched the Gordon Ramsay one for a while, the Kitchen Nightmares, whatever the fuck it's called, the first one he did.
Oh yeah. You know what's really funny about that is he could never recapture the height of Amy's Baking Company, and so the show off that actually died after the next season.
Really?
Yeah, because it was so popular when that show ended. It was that because that was a season finale, and everyone talked about it all summer long. So they did like this follow-up episode for the season premiere, and then after that, it just tanked. It lasted one more season, and then they just pulled the plug. So it goes to show you that even having that kind of internet fame, internet popularity, it wasn't Gordon Ramsay that people were there for. It was Amy. It was Amy. People like a villain.
Yeah.
Is really what it boils down to. Joe Exotic is kind of half villain. He's like a villain. I don't want to say with a heart of gold because he didn't got that, but he's one of those types where you're like you could see him in either role, and the quizzical nature of him in that regard is what's going to keep people interested. But it's got to be done in a way where it can't be a reality show. But I mean, I guarantee you, if he gets pardoned, dude, wait a fucking like 3 months, it's going to be a Joe Exotic TV show.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Netflix will give it to him.
Oh yeah. I mean, if they just did like Joe Exotic TV, like, weekly episodes where it's just literally him in front of a shitty $75 webcam, broadcasting out of a pool house in Pensacola, Florida, it would
be like, we own you now.
And think of
coming through here.
But think of the fucking money he would make. I mean, the fame and the money on this case. This is going to be like, he could write a book called If I Did It and actually get it published, right? Yeah. Like he could at this point. This is going to sound kind of weird. So I was discussing this with my girlfriend the other night, and I brought up George Zimmerman, and that whole situation, and it is what it is. But I'm like, look, Zimmerman, when he got acquitted, when he got out, he did not do well. He did not like seek redemption in the eyes of the public. He was bitter. He was angry, and he became more of the monster people already believed that he was. And now as a result of that, it's just like, his name is permanently slandered. It's gone. You can't do anything with it. But Exotic is in a situation where like he could get out. And even though he killed animals, euthanize them, he could still twist it if he played it up to be the underdog, to be the comeback story. And that's where I think he's going to like get a lot of attention. And, I do want that for him, as weird as it sounds.
He also seems like the comeback kid. He's resilient. He's the kind of person that never give up attitude.
Yeah. He's like, I'll find another 19-year-old boy to make my second husband or my third husband. Yeah. Like, cause I guess Safety Zoom had said in the chat that that Joe had been married like 5 times, but we only saw 3 of the 5.
Jesus.
And there's a lot that they cut out. So if they did a full like Tiger King documentary, like just a feature length about Joe's life, that could be as fascinating as the show, as just like is a companion piece. It's like, do you want to know more about the Tiger King? Well, that depends. How much Tiger do we get to see?
Yeah.
They're like,
his relationship with his brother, because I mean, the show starts out about how he left home because when they found out he was gay, his parents like didn't really want to have anything to do with him.
Yeah.
And so he leaves. But then they talk about how close he was to his brother and how it tore him up when his brother died. And then his parents were there for him. I'm like, aren't these the same parents that didn't want to have anything to do with you? And they're like, put up their house and shit and signed their name and everything.
Right.
I'm like, what's the deal there?
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that because they played that up too. Like he's like shifting all that money around and like getting his mom and stuff, and they looked like they lived pretty meager lives.
Well, he was laughing about when Carole was coming after. He was like, "Let her. You think I'm stupid? There ain't nothing in my name." No, they just take your mother, everything.
Yeah, take your mom's house.
Yeah, I mean, like that was he should have like not opened his mouth as much as he did. So that's the thing. Now we're going to be waiting for Joe to put his foot in his mouth more and more and more, and hopefully hopefully Lunga here can reach out and get an interview. Maybe. So I will. I think you should go for that one, and then let me know, because I'll definitely want to be on the call to ask questions about like what's going on with the Tigers. So, but I also want to know about Jeff. I want to know more about Jeff Lowe. I want to know what he, like if there's any kind of pending things about him, like who's going to come out now. Because now that it's so popular, people are going to come out of the woodworks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like it's just people are going to come out from every which way, and they're going to talk about what you were going to hear, like National Enquirer having like interviews with Joe's first husband, and like, like the weird kind of speckle under her freckle on the undertow of his dick or something. You're going to hear about that, like all the lurid details. Like they're going to draw like these, it's just going to be bad because that's our society.
Right.
And again, as bad as this is to say, I'm kind of there for it. You know, I just this is a train wreck. I want to see how far it goes.
Yeah,
I agree.
So God bless America. And we'll have anyway. So I want to thank everyone for coming on in tonight and enjoying this, and the people that are here. I really appreciate it. Lunga and Robert, thank you guys again. Where can people find you at?
Robert, go ahead. You go first. Yours is short.
Yeah, I don't have my own YouTube channel. I just like to pop up on other people's. I write for Nuke the Fridge, so check it out, nukethefridge.com. With Louis Leck. I'm also on Nerd Report on the YouTube channel, one of the co-hosts. And my Instagram is just at Swinging Eighth Note, Robert Garcia. You can check me out there, all the stuff that I get to do and hang out, and that's about it.
Awesome.
Yeah. My channel is, like it says there in the little graphic there, the Great Council. That's on YouTube, so you can just search the Great Council on YouTube. I did just start a Twitch channel, too, to expose it out, and it's Darth Daddy Lunga. So if you want to, head over there and subscribe to those.
Fantastic. And of course, this is the first episode of It Came from Netflix, which the next one probably won't be as in depth as this one, because this is about some real world shit. But it's something I've wanted to do for a while. And of course, Lunga does his own show, Stream Junkies. Not Screen Junkies, but Stream Junkies.
I gotta tell you, I never heard of fucking Andy Signor or fucking Screen Junkies.
Who?
Who? Red Skull.
Oh no, we'll talk later. I'll tell you some shit here in a second. But no, so yeah, no, it's good shit that these guys watch. They they have fanime friends. They watch anime. They talk about. I can't stand anime, so that's all them. But they're trying to build a community of people. I'm trying to build a community of people. We're all working together. So next time we'll talk about something that's not as crazy, but hopefully as in depth and fun. And I appreciate everyone.
And on Stream Junkies, because we're talking about fucking Tiger King on Saturday.
Yeah, well, and if I'm around, I'll come on in. We'll have more details by then. So, all right, everyone, thank you again so much. I'll be back on probably tomorrow night around the same time for just a general episode of the Nearly Midnight Movie Chat here on Hollywood After Dark. So have yourself a great one, everyone, and peace the fuck out.